It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Living Daily, episode 2411, The Opportunity of Lent by Joshua Becker of Becoming Minimalist.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your personal narrator, reading to you with permission from the authors. I cover lots of topics like personal development or personal growth, self-help, mindfulness, happiness, and usually minimalism on Mondays, but anything that I think can help you live a more meaningful life in just a few minutes every day. So with that, let's get right to the Minimalist Monday post as we optimize your life. The Opportunity of Lent by Joshua Becker of BecomingMinimalist.com. Growing up in small towns in South Dakota and North Dakota, I can vividly remember students in my school observing the season of Lent. But to me, it only meant that our school lunch menu changed for a month and McDonald's advertised their Filet-O-Fish sandwich for $1. As I grew older, I began to understand more and more the spiritual significance and religious tradition behind the season. And even though I've always been open to the idea of a personal God who loves me and cheers for me, Lent was still never a season I observed. But my mind was changed when I was invited by a mentor to observe the season by fasting from one controlling influence in my life for 40 days. He promised life-changing personal benefits to the exercise. I trusted him, and so I chose fast food. I was in a season of life and a mindset that lent itself to eating out often, and I knew cutting out fast food was going to require great intentionality and self-restraint. It turned out to be an unforgettable 40-day season and a valuable exercise in self-discipline. And that was almost 12 years ago, and I can still vividly remember eating the brown bag meals in my car that I prepared each morning. Since then, I have observed Lent a number of times. Each time, I choose one controlling influence in my life to fast from for 40 days. And whether that be fast food, soda, or television, I've learned important, life-changing lessons each time. For example, by choosing to fast from one controlling influence in my life during the season of Lent, I have, number one, learned humility. It's a humbling exercise to battle controlling influences in our lives. We're forced to stand face to face with our weaknesses and our humanity. And whether we win or lose over the course of the 40 days, even the intensity of the struggle supplies profound humility. Number two, developed intentionality. Whenever we seek to remove habits in our lives, we're granted the opportunity to replace them with new ones. We're allowed to ask new questions about the life we're living and what new aspects we'd like to incorporate. Number three, developed deeper empathy for others. We're often quick to judge the weaknesses of others, but rarely put our lives under the same level of scrutiny. Battling through a season of fasting often forces us to realize that the adversary of addiction is far less easy to conquer than we have otherwise thought. Number four, fostered greater self-control. Just like a muscle, self-control grows stronger through use and exercise. Exercising self-control in one aspect of life, like abstaining from coffee or chocolate, provides a greater possibility to utilize it elsewhere in our lives. Perhaps we would be more effective in overcoming impatience, anger, or indulgent eating in our lives if we exercise our muscle of self-control in other ways. Number five, confronted excesses in life. Many of the external items that subconsciously control our lives are not needs, they are wants, like coffee, dessert, television, Facebook, etc. But we have become so accustomed to having them in our lives on a daily basis, we too quickly confuse wants and needs. Fasting from one of these items for 40 days helps put things back in proper perspective and gives us the strength to just walk away. Number six, saved money. Many of the influences that I've chosen to give up for Lent in past years cost money. Avoiding them for 40 days has financial benefit during the season and financial benefit going forward as the items are always reintroduced in greater moderation. And number seven, saved time. Similar to the financial benefits, most of the controlling influences in our lives require time, energy, and attention. Removing them from our daily schedule provides extra minutes, sometimes hours, to our day. Over the years, I've experimented with Lent in a number of different ways. And here are some of the most helpful tips I've learned. Number 1, start by asking yourself this question. What is one thing that I could never give up for 40 days? As soon as you have an answer, you have identified a controlling influence on your life. I've asked countless others this question over the years and have been surprised at the variety of responses. Alcohol, bread, candy, chocolate, cigarettes, coffee, dessert, energy drinks, Facebook, fast food, ice cream, the internet, meat, shopping, soda, television, video games, wine, etc. But there's one constant. Everybody can answer it, usually in just a few short seconds. Number 2, choose a period of time. 40 days is a good number, but other than the fact that it corresponds directly to the season of Lent, it's not magical in any way. In fact, if the idea of 40 days is too daunting, choose a lower number. Just make sure you select a number that is going to exercise your self-control. I'd recommend something over 20. Number 3, pick a meaningful start and/or end date. If you can find meaning on one of the ends, you'll find that helpful. There's a reason Lent leads up to Easter. If you don't want to use Lent specifically, consider a birthday, holiday, or the changing of a season. Number 4, tell a friend. You don't have to explain all the details, though I always appreciate it when readers share my work with others. But the simple act of telling a close friend about your experiment will help provide accountability and strength for your journey. Number 5, find meaning in defeat. If you give in at some point during the experiment and succumb to the temptation, don't lose heart. Make failure your servant by examining its root, and then get back up to try again. Number 6, if you're spiritual, embrace the season with your entire heart and soul. And number 7, reintroduce slowly. Likely when the season is over, you will reintroduce the influence into your life. Do so slowly, carefully, and intentionally. You just listened to the post titled The Opportunity of Lent by Joshua Becker of BecomingMinimalist.com. Thank you to Joshua. I don't think I've personally done a challenge like this where I purposefully give up or quit something for a set period of time. I'm sure I've stopped doing things, but I don't think I've gone so far as to set a time limit on it, but I can definitely see the value. Sometimes we get so stuck in our habits and routines that we don't even realize when something has taken hold of our lives, possibly blocking us from doing other things that we want or should be doing. And it's a great way for us to discover what this might be. Asking yourself the question, what is one thing that I could never give up for 40 days? Because when you start with what you truly believe you could never give up, well, then you found something that really has taken a hold on your life for one reason or another, and it's a good way to investigate how it's affecting you. But it is difficult. I think a lot of social support here, or someone doing either the same challenge or even their own at the same time, can definitely help. Probably why that period of Lent is a good time to try it out. But really, challenges are happening all the time. You just have to find that group of people who are looking to start along with you. So, good one to think about today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back with another article for you tomorrow, this time from Live Happy, where your optimal life awaits.